Okay, there we go.
We're going to be talking about Worcester and the workforce investment boards, which are incredibly important to brownfield job training programs. So in fact, it's one of those things that early on we said, you really have to touch base with your workforce investment boards, even though some are stars and some are rocks. And I think in Massachusetts, we've got some stars. So we're going to get started, and there we go. We'll introduce everybody, and then they'll probably be joining a little bit. So I'm Mike Sedyu, a facilitator today with HMTRI. And Steve, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Steve Fenton, also with HMTRI, and the picture behind me is not where I'm located. Actually, that's the Grand Tetons, but I'm located in Venice, Florida. That recently got hammered by Hurricane Ian. We got over 20 inches of rain and high winds and they said the eye wall sat on top of us for hours. So we're in a process of still picking up from all of that. So good to see everyone.
And why don't we go with Renee? We were just talking about St. Louis.
Yeah, hi everybody. Renee Dooley. Last week I was with St. Louis Community College. This week I'm with St. Louis University. I just transitioned over to the Center for Environmental Education and Training, and I'm happy to report we'll continue, the partnership with the St. Louis Community College and the EPA job training grants. So
we don't let people leave once they get involved in workforce development. David, how are you?
Oh, you're on. There you go.
Good afternoon, good morning, guys. I'm doing good. I am in San Elizario, Texas, and I'm just here to gather as much information as I can.
David is one of those organizations that would like to start a program, and we're hoping we can coach him along. So when the next RFAs come along, he'll be right at the top of the class, get funded in the next round. Nolan.
I'm Nolan Curtis. I was trying to do the touch-up appearance mode on my Zoom call, and it didn't, so I look like this. But anyway, I'm with HMTRI, and it's good to see everyone here.
Okay. Hey, Bruce, our special guest today.
Hi, my name is Bruce Mendelson. I'm a resource development coordinator for the MassHire Central Region Workforce Board.
Yeah. And Deb's going to be talking about.
Yes, hi everybody. I'm Deb. I work with Bruce over at MassHire Central Region Workforce Board. And I wanted to say, Mike, you said there's some people that are rocks and some people who are stars. We consider ourselves rock stars.
Okay, you belong in the group.
Good one. That's really good.
I'll have to remember that one. With an emphasis on the star side of that. Antonio, this is someone that I was really impressed. We had a pre-PLC meeting, and she just really impressed me. Antonio?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Antonia Vaughn. I am a small business owner in Massachusetts, and I am a Worcester cohort graduate. Thank you for inviting me, and I can't wait to be a part of this meeting.
On the spot after she was talking, I said, we would sure like to have you next May at our all grantee meeting. So we've got you on the list, Antonio. Congratulations on the program.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Mildred?
You got to make sure that you invite all of Antonia's posse too.
There we go.
Yeah, we have a large posse.
Uh-oh.
We had a lot of graduates.
Mildred. Oops, you got to turn your, there you go.
Okay, there we go. My name is Mildred Curry. I'm a program assistant. I work with Bruce and Deb over here in Worcester at the Workforce Board.
Fantastic. Okay. And Libby.
Hi, everybody. My name is Libby Cornell. I'm with an organization called Honeybee Strategies, and we haven't had the EPA training grant yet, but we are planning to apply soon.
Right.
Next time it comes around.
Hooray.
And I'm in New Orleans, just so everybody knows.
Libby's an old friend of PLC's, and it's always good to see you. Jeffrey.
Hi, everyone. Jeff Turgeon, Mass Higher Central Region Workforce Board. So I work with Deb, Mildred, and Bruce.
And Janelle.
Sorry, I went to unmute and it killed my camera. Give me 1 second. Hi, I'm Janelle Granum. I am a program manager at the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center. So I'm here to learn some and hopefully also talk about another training opportunity for people who are on this call who are in math.
Fantastic. Pamela.
Hi, my name is Pam Carunchio. I work at the Energy Coordinating Agency in Philadelphia with Russell Hicks, who's also on the call.
Go Phillies.
There we go. Christine, I'm going to call you. I have to apologize. Christine isn't feeling well, but are we going to get you to say hello?
It's quite all right. I may sound hoarse. I'm Christine. I'm actually a co-grantee from the 2020 grant year with the City University of New York. I represent Sobro, the nonprofit. So we do the community development piece, where we kind of do the case management, kind of engage in the community, doing the marketing and just kind of meeting the folks where they are, doing the community presentations. And then CUNY, the City University of New York, they kind of oversee the training, development, and credentialing part of it. So we kind of work in tandem together to engage the folks in the higher learning community with those who may be doing the groundwork in sustainability infrastructure, green jobs, and kind of getting them wage growth opportunities through management, further credentialing, and things like that. I'm happy to be joining you guys today.
Great. And Russell?
Russell Hicks with Pam from the Energy Coordinating Agency here in Philadelphia. I'm actually at the dentist office as well, so I'll be on video today, but I'll be listening intently.
And they've got a workshop coming up too.
Oh yes, we have an Energy Career Fair on November the 16th from 9 to 1 for employers. We have about 20 employers in the industry, the utilities and energy industry, and hopefully they'll hire all of our training alumni.
I'm going to put in the notes just to let everyone know that people do have career fairs, and you're one of them, and I think you should get the credit for that. So we'll just put the announcements in. Jesse from the Fortune Society.
Hello, sorry about that. I'm here in the Fortune Society in New York City. We're in the vocational training program for employment services. So we're always just looking to expand our trainings and get our people the best possible work they can. And now thanks for having me.
Paula.
Hi, everyone. This is Paula. I am Paula Grady from OAI in Chicago, where we do environmental remediation training. And we've been doing this with EPA for a while now, Mike, I believe. And we've right now been in a course right now where we're doing a lot of landscaping projects and vacant lot projects here in Chicago. So we got a lot of things going on in Chicago right now.
OAI has been a star for many years and has a fantastic program, and we'll hear from them soon also about their program. Hi, Olga, how are you?
Hi, I'm sorry, I had to get back to my microphone. I'm Olga Perry, Region 4 EPA. Sometimes I just like to listen in, see what other job training grantees are doing. And that's what I'm doing today.
Good. Well, we'll make sure we don't hammer you with questions or anything. Welcome to the PLC. Shantae is going to be our featured guest on the 9th.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Shantae Vincent from the West End Neighborhood House. We've had our grant now for, several years, I do believe. And I am the EPA coordinator for this go round.
Thank you. Jose? Okay. He's an environmental attorney in New York City. Okay. Very good. Well, thank you. And Ed Kelly.
Hello, everyone. Ed Kelly with Nye Communities Coalition. I'm in Pahrump, Nevada, and we're on the Brownfields Training Grant and expanding out into an assessment grant that we're going to be awarded shortly. So we'll actually be doing the hiring of the contractors for the remediation work. We just had a cohort that finished in September for trainees, and it was an exceptional training except for the low turnout. So I'm always looking for ideas on how to recruit more individuals.
Okay. Yeah, Nye County is, it's a tough, he's in a tough neighborhood. I mean, tough meaning rural, not a lot of industry, more open space, and
exactly.
It's the beautiful thing about this program is we got a huge amount of diversity. Let's finish up with Emily or Emily.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Jimenez. I'm with EPA Region 6. I'm a Brownfields project officer, and I also will be coordinating Region 6's job training program in the next few months here or so. Sitting in, seeing where some of y'all are at. If any of y'all are in Region 6 that I don't personally work with, if you could raise your hand. I know Libby's on here and I've worked with her before in a different program. Like I said, just here to listen in.
Dr. Robinson.
Yes, good afternoon to all. How's everybody?
Good.
Good. I don't know exactly what region I'm in. I'm in the state of New Jersey. Just relocated here from Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm learning my way and looking to roll out one of our green skills training models through our ministry.
Fantastic. Well,
yeah.
You're in the right place.
Amen.
Paul, good to see you again.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Paul Salmons, Recycle Force out of Indianapolis. And we had some exciting news. A couple of weeks ago, we had from Department of Labor, Secretary of Labor Walsh here, who commissioned us to come up with a young adult labor panel that could potentially be used at the national level. So we'll be involved with that and seeing how we could tie in our EPA HAZWOPER 40 into that discussion. So we're real excited about that.
Well, comes from anything with a plug. Paul's organization works with it. It's a social enterprise working with 100% returning citizens. So it's, as I said, we have a very diverse group of people, which is fantastic. And that's the way we like to see it. And the purpose of this is to get ideas from everyone. And we're going to, Dr. Robinson, did you have something? Did you have your hand up?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. Today, and we're going to shift around a little bit today because Bruce is on a time schedule. And what we're talking about is our grantee we're talking about is Worcester. And it's interesting because, as I said, every of these professional learning, every one of these grantees is a little different. Sometimes the Workforce Investment Board will be the fiscal agent, and then they'll sub out to perhaps the city or they'll an organization. Sometimes a city or an organization will become the fiscal agent, and they will get the grant, and they'll partner and sub out the work to a Workforce Investment Board. But we felt it was very important and had the opportunity to have Bruce talk about their work, both as a Workforce Investment Board and as a sub to Worcester, Massachusetts. So with that, Bruce, I'm just going to turn it over to you, if it's all right.
Thank you, Mike. As always, you're a really tough act to follow. I wanted to thank my colleagues for being on this call, Jeff and Mildred and Deb, and also Antonia. And I think of all the three of us who speak this afternoon, Antonia is going to be the one who's most compelling because she's a program graduate. And so she really kind of hit it from where the rubber hits the road. So I'm going to talk about the workforce board, our workforce board from a satellite view. And I'll include some tips about how you might consider working with your local workforce board, whatever name it goes by. Then I'm going to drill down a little deeper to talk about boots on the ground view, and that is how we drew on some of our resources to put together, plan, and implement this grant. And then I'm going to finish out with some tips and advice. And if I don't get to those tips and advice, I know Deb and Mildred have a copy of this little script that we're working off of. So if I don't get to that point, then they can share. And also, I know Jeff is on the call, so he can kind of share from his executive director perspective. So I'm going to talk about the Mass Hire Central Region Workforce Board. We're one of 16 workforce boards in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, spread throughout the great state of Massachusetts. Our board serves the city of Worcester and 38 surrounding towns and communities. We have local offices in the city of Worcester, which is the second largest city in New England, in addition to being the second largest city in Massachusetts, and Southbridge, so that we can serve some of our clients and customers who are a little further south of Worcester. And we have dotted line reports to the city of Worcester's Executive Office of Economic Development and the Massachusetts Department of Career Services. So in general, workforce boards, we believe, are critical for the success of any workforce development grant, especially for these environmental workforce and job development and job training grants. From application to implementation, that's all along the entire continuum, because they can be, as you know, very complex with a lot of promises, partners, and moving parts. So it helps to really understand the role of your local workforce board and connect with the services it offers. So here are 4 ways in general that you may want to consider as you start reaching out to and engaging your local workforce board, the resources that you want to ask them about. So number 1, identifying and engaging job seekers, either unemployed or underemployed, who may be interested in your training. Number 2, identifying and engaging employers, employer partners for help with placing program graduates. Number 3, setting up or joining scheduled job fairs to connect program graduates with employers, and then actually inviting your program graduates to come to the job fairs and meeting the employers themselves. And number 4, helping to identify potential sources of additional funding or other employer hiring incentives that you can mix into your grant application or your implementation and help your grad kind of leverage these economies of scale. So those are 4 tips. Any questions? No? So all right, so I'll assume that everybody gets that and you love what you're hearing, and I'm going to keep going. Okay, so
I'll throw something in, Bruce. What about services, case management, and those types of services?
Well, yes, of course. I mean, that's where the referrals to the unemployed or underemployed folks come in, and also to the veterans. Gotcha. I didn't mention this, and re-entering citizens. I mean, the workforce boards, I don't know how it is for other states, but in Massachusetts, if you are unemployed or you're underemployed, you're going to come to the workforce board, because to get some of your benefits, you actually have to participate in a seminar about what the workforce board offers. So the workforce boards have the names and contact information of people who are either unemployed or underemployed, or even incumbent workers who want more training. Does that answer your question?
Yep, perfect.
Great, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the satellite view right now, and this is how we work with the city of Worcester. As I said, we have a dotted line report to the Executive Office of the City of Worcester Executive Office of Economic Development. So I like to call it the 5 R's. So we have reach, resources, relationships, reputation, and results. Right. So these are the 5 R's. I'll say them again: reach, resources, relationships, reputation, and results. And these go both ways. Right. So we offer some and they offer some. Specifically for this grant, and certainly for others, but I'll just talk about this one specifically. It was instrumental for us to have connections to city departments and spark plugs. And I use that term deliberately. You may be familiar with it. This is people who make stuff happen at any level of an organization. So let's just say, like, the executive director of the Housing Development Division, we can't get in touch with her, but we can get in touch with somebody else in that division who knows somebody in our organization, pick up the phone, make a phone call, and find out what they're doing to kind of loop them in and see how they can help us. And I mentioned the Housing Development Division because they're the folks who have worked with the general contractors who are going to hire our program graduates. Right. So every city will also have a listing of MBEs or WBEs, minority business enterprise owners, or women enterprise business owners. Antonia, shout out. So there's a directory there, and those are folks that you can engage, reach out to, and add to your list of potential employer partners. So referrals to employers, and then of course your regional chamber of commerce. So it's kind of the satellite view of how we work with the city of Worcester and engage some of their departments and their affiliated organizations. Any questions so far? Okay, great. All right, thanks. So I'm going to draw down from the satellite view now to the boots on the ground view. And really what I'm going to talk about here is how we draw on these 5 R's, which I mentioned earlier, to craft a winning grant application, create a realistic plan, and engage diverse audiences, right? Or diverse organizations' audiences. So after reaching out to these organizations and getting a whole list of folks, we started talking with well, let me take a step back. I'm not going to talk about what we did. I'm going to talk about how you might consider working based on some of the successes that we had. So what can you get from the workforce boards? Letters of support, right? You can get those through your employer partners too, that they've referred you to. LMI, labor market information, essential for every grant that you're going to apply to. And I think it was it Dr. Robinson or was it Janelle? One of you was interested in applying for a grant. They're going to ask you for numbers upon numbers upon numbers, right? And so you want to make sure that you have the current numbers in the professions that you're targeting for training, and you can get them through the workforce board. Jeff, I mean, Jeff is the big boss here, but he's always crunching the numbers. And he generates list after list of all these different, SOCs and occupational codes. So that you want to get from your workforce boards. It's hard to get it on your own. They're the experts and they can give it to you. So that's job data analytics, program recruitment, again, through the workforce boards, because that's a place where folks have to go if they're, seeking unemployment benefits. Job identification and placement, and tracking, right? So they're going to know, once you graduate some folks, they're going to go through the workforce board in most cases, and you will be able to track them through the workforce board saying, hey, did so-and-so get a job? Where are they working? If they're not responding to, if that graduate isn't responding to you, right? And I know Deb can talk about another tool for tracking program graduates, and she'll talk about that a little later. And then finally, under kind of the boots on the ground, is connections and referrals to two key organizations. Number one, certified, licensed, and reputable training organizations, right? We don't provide the training ourselves, we just contracted it out, but we need to know if these guys are, legit. And number two, community support organizations, and those are essential to support, to enhance program persistence, right? So community-based organizations that you can work with or coordinate with to provide program support to kind of increase your persistence. So that's the boots on the ground type description. Any questions on either the general, the satellite view, or the boots on the ground?
Yeah, I have a question. Do you have a specific way to get in contact or to have your organizations like, do you have an application or something like that so that your organizations that have service can contact you and you know, basically so that you can recommend us as training providers or whatever with your organization? I know Louisiana, I've been searching forever for their application. I can't find it, so.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, Libby, what you're asking is there a push mechanism through which prospective training partners can apply to be considered as a training partner? Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, we actually don't have one of those applications because we've been, this is where one of the 5 R's comes in, right? We have these resources and this reach, so we know who the 2 or 3, you know, legitimate training providers are in the area for environmental, you know, for environmental avocations, and so we know who the those legit training providers are. My suggestion, if you're, you know, if Honeybee Strategies is a women-owned business, then you certainly want to get listed in the minority or women business enterprise directory so that you can be considered, because a lot of these contracts, again, a lot of the federal grant contracts or the applications specify and or give preference to hiring a MBE or WBE or veteran-owned business training provider. Does that answer your question?
It does, but you know, we are women run, but we are not owned because we're a nonprofit. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, look, you can't go wrong by making yourself and or your organization known to your local workforce board. I mean, if there's one takeaway that you know you glean from this entire monologue, is you want to reach out and engage and have a relationship with your local workforce board so that they know about you and you know about them. Yes, sir, Dr. Robinson.
Yeah, I just wanted to share with the young lady who's just speaking that has the nonprofit. One of the things that we did as a nonprofit faith-based organization is we created a subsidiary for-profit company to work hand in hand with the nonprofit when we had opportunities to contract with government or non-government agencies. So you want to consider creating that women-owned entity for that designation, because that creates opportunity for some set-aside contractual opportunities.
Yep, that we actually do have a subsidiary. It's just not up and running like the nonprofit is. The nonprofit already has had grants that have come through. The women-owned business part of it hasn't really gotten up off the ground just because we don't have the contracts yet. But it's there. We just have to make those efforts. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Cool. All right. So thanks for that. I'm now going to relinquish my bully pulpit to Antonia. And just by way of, thanks. I think that's a laugh of sympathy. I get them a lot around here.
Hey, Bruce.
Yeah.
Before Antonia comes on, I just need to do a little blurb.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I am going to be taking over the Brownsfield grant, so I didn't have a lot to do with the last group except for one component of that, and that was bounce training. And you're probably wondering what bounce training is. It is a life skills / soft skills program that all of our training participants start off with. I am the facilitator of this program, and it basically is all about helping folks to get empowered, to know that, they're coming after probably setbacks of unemployment or, just being laid off or something. Their emotions are most of the time at an all-time low. So what this program does is have them look into what they value, their beliefs, their integrity, and set goals, and basically help them say, when they leave this program, that I can do this. So we do this, as I said, for all the training programs that we run here at the board. But I did do one for this cohort, which Antonia was part of. So I'll turn it over to her so she can tell you about her experience. Hey, Antonia.
Just one second, Antonia, let me introduce you, because I think that you merit some sort of introduction. So Antonia is a minority business enterprise owner, a female business enterprise owner. Antonia found out about our program, wanted some extra training. We offered, OSHA 10, OSHA 40, and some deletting, and she certainly qualified and enrolled in the training. Took it over the course of 2 months, and I wanted to invite her to talk about her motivation for participating in the program, some of the positives and negatives, and then advice from a program participant's perspective.
Great, thank you, Bruce. Yes, so my name's Antonia Vaughn. I own We Fix It Renovate, which is 11 certifications in at this point. Economically disadvantaged, women's owned small business, minority business enterprise, you name it, I got it. So I took this year to really get more education to try to grow and foster my business, because I do want to go into the government contracting sector. And I've been learning a lot about city bids, state bids, and agency bids. When this came across in an email, the advertisement was for employees, and at the moment I didn't have any. And I found it as a great opportunity for me to further myself. And the lead especially allows me to become a contractor and to have other people work under me, which I can come back to Mass Hire and make sure that I can hire people that are adequately trained, because I went through this program and I know firsthand that they have what it takes to get the work done and to be a good employee. But with that being said, the balance training that Deb is speaking of, it was phenomenal for me. I'm a very optimistic person already as it is. I've seen adversity, I've been through adversity, and to know that you can come from a very heavy place but be welcomed into a program like this, with the bounce being, that first introduction, I think was phenomenal. I can't stop raving about it. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I'm trying to tell people, as many people as I can, especially with the ability for the city to, fund people to get paid. That's something that I find is also, you can't put a price on that. You can get payment, you can get education, you can get training, you can get, a ride there. So I think this grant really went very, very far. And I really hope that it stays, and that this is something that you guys will continue to do, and that other people in other states and other areas can also take advantage and be, have the opportunity to grow in this way. I plan on sticking it out with Mass Hire for the duration, and, hopefully I can help, to employ people as well in the future through this program, through, the workforce board development programs that they have in the state. And I'm sure that Deb and Bruce and Mildred will be able to, assist me as I grow. And I just can't, like I said, I can't speak enough good words about the ability to learn something, be educated, properly trained, and in some instances, depending where you're coming from, be paid for it. And the bounce training, again, I think especially at the introduction of the cohort was very important, for people who may not have that right headspace, that this is a good place, that Deb can kind of gauge where they are and then give them words of encouragement and tools. She gave us tools, and some of these tools I already know, but for some people that were in the class, you know, one of them happened to be a foreigner. It's intimidating. It's intimidating to go into an interview. It's intimidating to go into an environment that you're uneducated on or that you don't have experience on. And Jeb was able to, within a week, give you that confidence that once you go through this program, yes, you may not understand and may not know now, but when you're done, you will, and you can get a job. And that same foreigner, we've stayed in touch. She is from Haiti. Geraldine is her name, and she's been working, you know. And another person from the cohort, Lolly, I don't know how to pronounce her name. I call her Lolly just because her name is a very unique and long name. She's actually been working in asbestos and lead. And, you know, this is the result you want, right? This is what you want from what you're trying to do and how you're trying to get back to your communities. And I'm here to say that it works and it's valuable. So thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you for sharing.
You're most welcome.
This is fantastic. So actually, you go through this program before you go through the technical program as a precursor. And then does everyone who goes through Bounce end up in the environmental program, or
Yes.
is it selected?
It's geared as a cohort model. So everybody who starts with me in Bounce goes directly to technical training after. So they almost develop like a kinship. So they always know that somebody's there, and you'll find that they drag each other forward. So, you know, chances that they'll drop out isn't as high as it would if they were single.
And that's where you're doing all of your life skills. You're doing that early on.
Yep.
And if for some reason someone is in there and it's just not working for them, you're not going to take up a seat when you get into technical training.
Right.
Excellent. Excellent.
Hang on, Mike, let me say one more thing, and then I'm going to get on by phone. I'll log off and I'll get on by phone. But for the people who are considering applying for this, put in an early win, right? So by an early win, I mean, in our first week, we did OSHA 10 training. So in the very least, you know, they came for 3 days, they got 10 hours of OSHA 10, they got at least one certificate, right? So put in an early win, because that incentivizes program participants to persist in the program, right? Stack wins early so that you can retain people.
Excellent. One question that's in the back of my mind, and well, Doctor, why don't you go first?
I just wanted to ask Ms. Deb from Mass Hire about Bounce. Is anyone, first and foremost, I'm sorry, what states does the Central Region cover from EPA?
Okay. So the Bounce program is a program that we purchase here. We purchase the license. It's actually run by a woman named Maria Smith, and she's in Australia. I can certainly forward her information to everybody if they want to take a look at it.
Yes,
I'll find the link and send it into the chat in a minute.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, thank you.
That would be fantastic. One overall question I had: say someone wants to get involved with the WIB, do they go to one stop? Is there a central office for the WIB that's separate from your one stops? I know every state's going to be different, but say we've got a new grantee out there thinking of applying, they don't know where to go. How do we connect with the WIB? Do we go through the one stop and work our way up? Is there an organization they would go to? Or is it going to be different in every state?
I think from my experiences, I know it was different in North Carolina, much different from me engaging with the state of New Jersey. And it was different for us in the region of Puerto Rico. So those just three and New York City, New York State, the process was totally different in each one of them.
So everyone is really going to have to look at their local organization. Here's the other question, and it was mentioned, Bruce mentioned that everyone who is unemployed goes through the employment service, but what happens if someone is slipping through the cracks? They don't go to the unemployment service. Can you can you then go to the WIB and give them a name? One of our grantees once said, make sure that everyone in your cohort passes through the WIB to see if they qualify for benefits. I mean, is that a correct approach? I'm saying, again, a new grantee, they don't know where, they don't even know about WIBs perhaps. And I say, okay, I've got a mix of people. Some are referred to me through the unemployment department. They've got caseworkers. Some are returning citizens. They've got caseworkers. And then some people came in off the street and I want to run them through. What would you do?
Well, I previously have went directly to the Passaic County one-stop centers and identified who the actual case managers and the qualifiers of the recipients that would receive these benefits. So that was my experience, going straight to the director of the Passaic County One-Stop Center, her name Miss Laura Murphy. Then from there, I engaged with the executive director of that office. So it's some footwork that's required for sure.
So really, you want to, all of your applicants, once they're accepted, you want to go either to the one-stop or perhaps a WIB and say, does this person qualify for benefits? Because they can be major.
Yeah, my experience with the one-stop center, referring people there, it allows them to be TABE tested. It allows them to go through several different steps of qualifications, determining what support they need to enhance them for success through this process. So I would say definitely send them through the county one-stop center, and they would schedule them to do their TABE test. Then from their TABE test, they determine their level of needs in math, reading, like the soft skills that Miss Deb was talking about, So I think it's beneficial for those individuals because then they also, if you have a worker that's in that agency that's worth his or her salt, would help this individual identify the benefits that he or she is eligible to start receiving going through the process.
Okay. Some of our students come through, you're saying the one stop, which we used to be called here in Massachusetts, but we also have a career center here with us. The WIB and the career center are together in one building. So we often do get referrals from the career counselors. That's one way they come to us. Another way students come to us is by social media. We find a lot of people on social media. We blast it out to all the CBOs in the area and all the nonprofits that could possibly find students. So we do work very close with our career center. So that, when people enter Bounce, I talk about the career center and the services that they offer there as well.
So when you look at feeders into the, let's focus a little on the Worcester program. Say you're recruiting for the job, the EPA workforce investment, the EPA program. When you get an interest, do you recruit or are you leaving it completely up to the WIB to refer people?
Not us. We it's about building relationships and collaboration throughout your community, city, county, and state. So you just can't sit. Well, I don't sit and wait for them to make a referral to us. Right. You got to really engage with the citizenships of that town, of that municipality, let them know what services are available. If they're interested, here, go here, be here at this time, So it's footwork.
Yeah. I totally agree. As Bruce said, it's boots on the ground. We put our
Mhm.
flyers everywhere, you know, we
Mhm.
walk into coffee shops and drop them there, anywhere that we know that people could be.
Yeah.
So once they express an interest from a flyer, then you would perhaps send them to the One Stop or the WIB
Mhm.
to say, maybe as a first step, you need to go there, and then come back to us, and
Yeah.
we'll start working you through the program.
Right. And you want to allow them to solidify that they're ready, they're interested. You can't be into a babysitting process. You can't hold people's hands all the time. If you're interested, look, this is where you got to be at this time, at this stuff. This is what's required of you. You step forth and handle it, and things will manifest for you. If not, I see you in traffic.
Right.
Excuse me, if I can just add, one thing that I appreciated about the cohort in Worcester was that Bruce had the flexibility. I did have to take it over 2 months just because I'm a small business owner, and it wasn't, you know, something that I could be flexible with within my time, but it was something that I still want to benefit from. And I completely understand where you're coming from, Dr. Robinson. If they can't show you that they're willing to do the work for themselves, then you can't bring them to the next step. But there are people like me who we want to be involved. We have the tenacity to do it, but we need the flexibility.
Amen.
So I was appreciative that Bruce and Mass Hire was able to shift things around for me, allow me to take something during another week so that way I could get through a project or two that I had going on and I didn't upset the flow of my clients. But I just wanted to add that.
Amen. Thank you. And congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Robertson.
You're welcome.
Couple of quick questions. Things like transportation and childcare. All of those things are a matter of funds, resources available. How does Worcester handle it? Maybe it's a quick 1, 2, 3. Maybe one drug testing, childcare, transportation. Are any of those things provided to the in the Worcester program?
Yes, the transportation was included, and that was a factor that we found most people used because the training was about an hour to Springfield and about an hour and 20 minutes to Wilmington, to our north. So we contracted with a company here in Worcester that would pick up the students and transport them to where they were going and pick them up on the way back. So yeah, transportation was provided.
That's necessary.
How about
Childcare is necessary.
Were you able to do childcare if they requested, or they weren't not in Worcester?
No, but we did, if people were on benefits, and we would refer them to DTA so they could get their benefits that way.
And drug testing is usually HHS, or it's another agency, isn't it? And do you require drug testing, or do you?
Bruce did not require drug testing this time around, but I'm going to think about that strongly to see if we should look into that. On my other programs that I run, I do drug testing because of CDL requires it.
Right.
So
it's all over the map for that matter, and we're grappling it. We're working with that on an HMTRI. Half do, half don't. If you're doing CDL, you need to. You know, employers may or may not need them. So we're just trying to sort all of that out. And as far as curriculum goes, you're doing lead, asbestos, I assume, and then HAZWOPER.
HAZWOPER, correct.
And OSHA 10.
OSHA 10, correct.
Yeah, and then life skills.
Yep.
Right. And are you doing 1 or 2 cohorts a year, or
3 cohorts a year?
Oh.
Last year, Bruce did April, May, and June, and we're looking to do it in 2023, the same 3 months.
That's interesting. And those are what, 6, did you say 3 months programs, or?
I believe, I don't know offhand. I know it took Antonia 2 months because she had a switch, but it depends on the person. We had a lot of swapping in, and
That's smart and very intuitive, because the hiring, you're hitting the peak of the hiring season right then. You do it too early. If you start now, unless you're in a southern state, you might have problems with placement. So you're graduating just as everybody is looking for workers.
Right. And here in New England, we have to worry about the snow. So that would really goof up transportation. So we do it in the spring.
How is that relationship with the city of Worcester? You now in your case, the city got the grant, their fiscal agent, but then they turned it over to you, which is very common. Sometimes it goes in the reverse direction. Did you just find that that was a good approach to use?
I believe so, because we do a lot of trainings here at the Workforce Board. So we're used to working in the same type of realm. So we're used to running training programs. That's what we do. That's what we're.
It may be worth mentioning, Michael, we are a division within the city. So it's not like, it's not like we're separate from the city.
Oh, okay.
We're actually a division within the city in terms of the administrative stuff. So we do operate day to day, separate in doing our overseeing our own programs. But at the end of the day, we are city employees. The procurement for vendors, which was a big thing we had to set up with the new contract, needed to follow our city procurement regs.
Yeah.
And all the contracts are from the city to the partners.
That is an excellent observation, because as Paul in Rochester, when you're associated with the city, you have entry into so many more avenues. You can go into other offices in the city. You're kind of one of their own. And that affiliation with the city opens a lot of doors. So you've kind of got the best, you've kind of torn down that wall between a city appendage and being an outsider. Excellent.
Mike, you got Nolan's got a question.
Yeah, I was wondering, is any of your training or in terms of curriculum able to be delivered online?
We did not. We did everything last go around face to face, but I believe OSHA 10 can be. But we like the idea of face to face.
Yeah, everything we had done was face to face, just because we had we have the ability to do some of it, but a lot of the like the asbestos on the career stuff, of course, very much hands-on.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, that's why we actually had to bring them to the location where they have the mock-ups and all the equipment in the training facility, the shops. We did do some, we gave them some basic homework around reading and stuff, but in general, we wanted to, kind of get back this year to having people working together and, kind of in person.
Okay, yeah, and I appreciate that. And then when you talk about bringing them to a facility where you have the material, equipment, supplies, et cetera, is that something that you own, or is that third party, or is that a employer, local employer?
No, so that's our training partner that we we had to procure competitively. They won the bid to do the training. Their training was about 45 minutes away. And so we also had to procure and get bids to get transportation for folks. So we actually had them, for those that didn't want to drive there themselves, they were able to meet us in the morning here in Worcester and jump on a van.
Okay. Then I guess it's the last detail, lunch or refreshments. What, were you able to subsidize people in terms of?
Yeah, we had done some morning refreshments when they got on the van. Not every day, but we tried to kind of maybe just do it more as like a treat now and again. So I forget, I don't think we had them. I think it was they brought their own lunch to the training center. Deb, you don't know any different about that, do you?
No, I think they did pack a lunch.
Okay. All right, great, thank you.
Oh, and one last thing that I wanted to mention, with the cohort, sometimes people all of a sudden will disappear after they've gone through the training. And we know that we have to track them, number one, to help them gain the skills to get a job. But I found that the work number through Carasoft company, we're able to track graduates and find out if they are indeed working. So it's been a great tool for us to use to find out employment information.
And sometimes you can track them if they want refreshers.
Correct.
Then
Yep.
you can get them to come back.
So looking, I guess 6 months or 12 months after they've completed your program, do you have any kind of rough breakdown as to how many have jobs or employment within the industry versus people who did get jobs, but it happened to be 2 off, 3 off, or not related?
Deb, do you have that chart handy? I
Yeah,
know
that's what I was just trying to look up here.
we've been charting the progress on it, and so
Tracking is tough. All of our grantees wrestle with tracking because once they're gone,
Right.
it's
It looks like 20 of our graduates are working in environmental out of 38, and the rest are working other jobs.
Okay, and that's how far out, like 6 months, 12 months, or?
Let's see, the last cohort went through in June of last year, so 6 months out.
Okay, super, thank you.
3 months, sorry, 3 months.
Yeah,
I
3
can't
months,
even
yeah.
think here.
This has been really informative, and thank you for educating us on WIBs and how you're working with that.
Mhm.
Any other questions? I would, this has been so interesting that we spent more time than we often spend on our review of different grants. But Steve, would you like to catch up on some of the other things that are going on, some of the highlights?
Oh, sure.
If we could tell everyone. First of all, does anyone have any questions? WIBs, Deb, we're going to put all this in the notes, and those will go out on Friday.
And Mike, there was a question from a Leanna, and she asked about if this recording is going to be available. And I put down in the chat box that it's going to be up on our site. I don't know how soon our guy is on travel for the next few days, but it generally goes up. So if you want to, listen to this again, it should be up there soon.
We'll put those up with the notes at brownfields-toolbox.org.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just give you some information that I normally do up front, but we wanted to let Bruce go first today because he had a time crunch. Basically, a couple of dates. One, August 8th through 11th, 2023. Sounds like a long way off, but it's probably going to be here before we know it. That's when the Brownfields 2023 National Conference is in Detroit. So if it's, and I know a few people that are on this call, we saw in Oklahoma City this past year. So they're going to have this conference in Detroit next August. So just a heads up on that date. Also, then this is just a brief announcement, just kind of a heads up that we're, kind of looking at the tea leaves, and it looks like there's going to be some potential grant opportunities coming up in, the next, year or 2 years or so. We're not sure exactly, but with a lot of focus on equity development, environmental justice, and climate change, we know there's going to be some opportunities there. We're just not sure how long, or how, what it exactly entails. So we're going to track and report potential funding opportunities as they arise. We're also going to include in the notes the link to the EPA's FY23 budget, in case you want to take a look at that. So it's kind of interesting. So just kind of, stay tuned for that. Also, just a number of folks that are here attended our workshop October 12th. Just wanted to recap that for you. One of the highlights was David Lloyd, who's the head of the Brownfields program from EPA. His remark, in addition to thanking all of the grantees for the work they're doing, serving the underserved communities across the country, he announced that 47 applications were submitted during FY23. And 27 of those would be recommended for funding. So if you do the math, that's pretty good odds, like 56% chance if you're one of those 47. Additionally, kind of surprised us a little bit by making the announcement that they would be, that the announcement of those 27 will be early next year. So we thought it might be a little later on, but he specifically mentioned that it would be early in the year. So we're looking forward to that. Also, this year's workshop included 2 brainstorming sessions focusing on 2 critical issues facing grant recipients at this point in the grant cycle. One was incorporating environmental justice and establishing a presence in the target community. And the second one was participant recruitment and students selection. Participants were divided into 3 breakouts with an equal mix of experienced grantees, new grantees, aspiring grantees, and EPA staff. I mean, all 3 of those breakout sessions were superb. We had a really nice mix of folks. Each group included a facilitator and recorder. 2 questions under each topic were posed. And when the breakout sessions concluded, recorders reported ideas presented as part of the plenary session. And the results have been captured in a recording to be posted in the Brownfields toolbox, as well as the notes. So also, just kind of a quick summary of the evaluation. We had 76 participants who attended this workshop, mid-year professional development refresher, including 15 EPA staff, and respondents to the post-event evaluation indicated that 59% of those that attended were experienced grantees, 41% were new or aspiring grantees. Overall, about 94% of the evaluation respondents rated the workshop as excellent or above average, with the goals and objectives achieved. The full evaluation will be posted on the toolbox along with the recordings if you're interested in looking at those. And they are worth looking at if you want to kind of take a look if you're a new or aspiring grantee and you want to look at the answers to some of those questions, because all of them are jotted down. They were really, really well done. It's really good information. Just a couple of, we asked a couple of narrative questions. One was, what did you like most about the workshop? One comment was, like the combination of the acres training and the small group discussion, also enjoyed the videos. Another one said, I like the format of the breakouts. The open discussion was useful and different from a presentation or panel. What did you like least about the workshop? Well, a couple comments about just that it was on Zoom. I think, there's a lot of Zoom fatigue these days, but they still rated even the presentation technology as very good. One comment was it was too long, but the time was very effective. So those were a couple of those comments. What can we do to improve future meetings and workshops? One comment was offer the content in bite-sized chunks so people can participate and get what they want or need. And although this was good meeting overall, I still believe the in-person meetings are more engaging, and you have the ability to meet with individuals outside the formal meetings to go more in depth or provide assistance, which we wouldn't argue with. That's very true. And then list any topics you'd like to hear about in the future, more ways to reach the right students when dealing with very low-income neighborhoods, active industry participation, best practice examples of industry/local EPA brownfield project collaboration and outcomes, presentation of related of equipment that could be used to carry on relevant training. And then someone said the starting process, what should I be doing? So along with recruitment, apprenticeships, and mentorships, those were some of the ideas for the future. Now, the next workshop will be an in-person one, and here's some more dates for you. May 15th through 19th, 2023, we will have an in-person all grantee meeting in Alexandria, Virginia. We're now that the mid-year meeting has passed, we're now in the process of planning this meeting, but those dates are good. So please note those for your calendar. Couple of other opportunities for you. There's an organization you've heard us mention once or twice, I think, at least, of a group called PEAT. And that's not a person, it's an organization, the Partnership for Environmental Technology Education. Sometimes you see an N in front of NPEAT for National Partnership for Environmental Technology Education. They have two upcoming opportunities. One is a Disaster Site Response Institute for Trainers. It's going to be held at Indian River State College in Fort Pierce, Florida, the week of January 9th through the 13th, 2023. So it's coming up. The deadline for applications is November 16th. So that's a couple, what's that, about 3 weeks away. Participants will be prepared through a 5-day program to obtain safety authorizations for public and private disaster site responders and workers. Courses include the OSHA's 15-hour disaster site worker, hazardous awareness, communications, and incident command. For those who are accepted, there's at no cost, and accepted attendees will receive about 85% of their travel costs for attending, which includes car rentals, per diem, reimbursement for the hotel, etc. So you get not only free training and curriculum, you get all these expenses paid for. It's really a great program. We've had a number of our brownfield job training grantees go through this training, and they've said that it's very useful. This same organization has one more opportunity. It's May 15th. It's a 10-day, so 2-week program connected with an organization called the Community College Consortium for Health and Safety Training, CCCHST. It's a 2-week train the trainer, where they will be facilitating this training that will include the 40-hour HAZWOPER, 24-hour industrial emergency response, DOT hazmat awareness, confined space, non-entry rescue, hazard awareness and communication, and disaster site worker awareness. So again, a lot of curriculum. It's essentially no cost. If you have a trainer, this really is for trainers, not necessarily managers, because you will be in level A suits and they will have a lot of hands-on activities for you. But if you have a trainer and you would like to get them more trained, this is a great opportunity. The organization, Pete, the executive director's name is Kirk Laughlin. Mike Nolan and I have known him for probably 25 or 30 years. Fantastic guy. He always asks me, Steve, make sure your brownfield trainees know about this. We would like to have them attend. And I think we had a few in here today that have gone through it. Libby and Shantae both, I know, have gone through the program. So it's a great opportunity. You get curriculum, you get a great network. If you run into a training problem when you get back, you can always call one of the trainers or colleagues that you met there. So it's really fantastic network and a good opportunity. So we'll include this in the notes. And the applications for this aren't out yet because it's in May of 2023, but we're going to let you know the moment they drop. So any questions?
Yeah, I have one. Is it possible for some of trainers from Jersey to participate in that process? Is it virtual or is it on hand?
No, it's hands-on, and I should have mentioned that. The one in the disaster site worker training is actually at Indian River State College in Fort Pierce, Florida. And what they call the Greatest Institute, that's the hands-on 2-week training, is actually in Bettendorf, Iowa. Scott Community College is usually the host there. So it's right on the banks of the Mississippi, if you're not familiar with where that is.
Okay.
So yeah, they have got a great training facility, outstanding trainers. So yeah, it would be a matter of putting in application. So the disaster site worker applications are up online now, and you got until November 16th to apply for that. And then these for the 2-week training trainer, the applications aren't out yet, but will be soon, and they'll let us know the moment they drop, and we'll pass it along.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, any other questions? Mike?
Well,
Back to you.
great. Thank you, everybody. We kind of switched things around, and I think we learned a lot about WIBs, found out what the latest news is, and hopefully we'll see you all in a couple of weeks, and we'll talk about West End's neighborhoods, how the house, and we'll complete also a discussion we had. We've been working on awareness and engaging a community and recruiting students. We're going to kind of finish up that whole tranche with assessment, assessing and screening students. So we'll do that in the next PLC. So
Okay.
between now and then, y'all have a good couple of weeks, and we'll see you soon.
All right, everybody stay blessed and stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you for
All right,
coming.
you too.
Okay.
All right, God bless.
Hey, real quick, Steve,
Yes.
is there a link for that application process for the PEAT, the 5-day
Let's
DSW
see.
training?
We have it
Yeah, I
all in
can-
the notes. Are you
it's a-
getting PLC notes, Ed?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, on Friday, those links will be in there.
Great.
Or
great.
Ed,
Okay.
if you want to hold on, I'll pull it up and drop it in the chat box.
All right,
There you
even
go.
better.
There you go.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you, everyone. Be safe.
All right, God bless.
Yes. Thank you.
Let's see. Let me see here. Drop down
You said
program.
the deadline for the DSW 5-day training is in November.
Yeah, November 16th.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
yeah, I mean,
I think if you just go to the PEAT website,
here, I got it right here,
okay.
Mike. I'll drop it in. And then it'll also be in Mike's notes, but let me go to the chat box. Here you go. Yeah, if you got any questions, Ed, just reach out to Mike or I or Nolan, and we can help you steer your way through it. Kirk Laughlin,
Right.
like we said, who runs the thing is fantastic. And you know, if you've got any questions we can answer, we can just give him a holler and ask him for you. So
Okay. Is the application process, is that a lengthy process, or is that, I mean,
no,
how
I don't
many?
think it. No, I don't think it's that long. It's a matter of, I think they ask questions about your, training, because there have been instances where people go who are more administrators and really aren't trainers, and they didn't realize it was mainly for trainers, and so I think they'll ask questions like that, about your background or training or stuff. So
Okay. Great. Well, I appreciate it. Very informative today, and we'll see you on the next one.
all right,
All right.
All right. Take
See you,
care.
Ed. You bet.
Okay, did you stop the recording?
No, let's see. I guess I can do that right up here. Are you sure you want to stop the recording?